account. Just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
All right, here we go. Myrna, She Fly 9, Forensic RN, Lucky Pair. Texas, Brett. Was there a grand jury sentencing? I thought that had been postponed till way later. Did I miss it? You can maybe tell me. If so, I'll get up on it for tomorrow or the next day. B Rabbit, Christina, Jimbo. I agree with you, Myrna. Okay, I'll report on it tomorrow. I've been up to my ears. I was going to say earballs, earlobes over my head with Free Karen Reed, the sort of resolution, I think, but people say it's the calm before the storm. I don't know, of Turtlegate, of the recording of Karen Reed and Aidan Turtleboy Kearney. And it was really what was a really riff in the innocence fraudsters, all questioning Aidan Kearney and why would he record Karen Reed? And you listen to those recordings, and reasonable people who've lived on planet Earth could surmise that listening to those two scream at each other, that it sounds like two criminals talking to each other. So, but everything's sort of A-okay in Free Karen Reed world. I think they've all say that they realize that Aidan can't talk about it because he can't admit to a crime. So my understanding with wiretapping, correct me if I'm wrong, is that really the person who's illegally wiretapped, it would have to make the complaint for it to really go forward. So without the cooperation of Karen Reed, how's it going to go forward? So I think Aidan Kearney knows that it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, you have to say, like, I've been injured. There's like crime going on. This guy is illegally recording me. And then Karen would have to hand over those tapes. But for us to report it, like for just Joe Schmo on the street to report it, DA's office is busy. I don't think they're going to, it's like one of those charges that's not really going to go anywhere unless there's a specific injury that's been done. You've been injured. You've been injured, Jackie D. But so I just say that because Aidan Turtleboy Kearney says the reason he can't talk about it, and nobody's asking him to talk about it. They're just saying to like apologize to the people that he called liars. That's all he has to do is apologize to the people he called liars. But instead they're being demonized. So this is sort of the way that these groups go, the innocence fraud campaigns go. The person with the most power isn't going to be brought down by truth telling because they're all going to rally behind him in his bad behavior. Because it really is like, especially in this case, Hey, Wesley loves Octoberfest. Nice to see you. Topping off the cat tour fund. Thank you. Hello, everybody. It really is like, well, thank you, Wesley. These people are addicted to this story. So on this side, I can only go so many ways, right? I mean, I can talk about a lot of different things in the case, but I'm bound by the record. In innocence fraud cases, like if taking the opposite side, I can go a million different directions. I'm only really limited by my imagination. So I can take a kernel of something and just go with it forever and go into total minutia and take a right turn and have people looking for the quote unquote, what they'd call the real suspects, wink, wink. But we know it's not going to, I mean, and people are endlessly addicted to that. It is like their crack cocaine. They cannot get enough of it. So nobody wants Aidan to take away their drug of choice. I mean, where is this going to go? I mean, you know, when I talked to Brendan Kane, he talked about how he was really surprised to see free Karen readers at her civil trial, because the only thing on the money in civil court is who's going to pay money, right? It's not her freedom isn't, you know, hanging in the balance here. But for Karen readers, they're waiting any minute for the feds to come, for something else ginormous to happen, and the real killer will be finally exposed. And this happens in almost every single case that I talk about, save a few. Adnan Syed, West Memphis 3, people are still, they've gone from one stepfather to another stepfather to sideline players. So it just can keep going on and on forever. And they're blaming innocent people for, you know, the murder when it's really obvious, where all the evidence points to Karen Reed in this case and nowhere else. I mean, you look at how thin that defense was. So I'll be going on and debunking some really free Karen Reed talking points, but I mean, it was really summed up. Like, so I won't go crazy with like just the, you know, I'm not convinced that this grand jury is going to, you know, is really the beginning of anything. I've heard rumblings, I've heard rumors, but you know, talking about the grand jury and the grand juror, I mean, I think she's really been picked off as just a like a low level, like, what do you call it? A patsy, really? I mean, like just a low level person in all this. I mean, her life has been ruined according to the court transcript. She's lost her job. And for what? And for helping out a killer. I mean, good people can be fooled by these innocence fraud campaigns. It's, you know, they get wrapped up. It just seems so minor to me. And I'll get on it tomorrow, talk about it more tomorrow. So I think this is like summed up. This is like a newcomer. This is the I Don't Belong Here podcast. Samantha Benego. Her father, Joe, was like a big figure in New York talk show, sports talk. Joe. She was a drug and alcohol counselor. She has a lawsuit, made news here. She filed for SH suit against her ex-employer in 2019, in March of 2019, and they say that suit is ongoing. It says it's still pending. I mean, this will give you an idea of how long these civil suits can go on for. So those who are filing the Karen Read civil suit, this could go on. As the judge said, he has a case that's 19 years old. And I want to make a correction on my reporting. I misunderstood that the judge, he is specially assigned to that case. He's not, as for now, not going to be brought off that case. So correction, an important correction to make. But here's Samantha. So she's a newcomer to Free Karen Read. I don't know. She just seems to repeat all the talking points. Here's her take on the break in Free Karen Read. But Aidan Kearney says he can't talk about it because it would, for self-incrimination purposes and for loyalty purposes. And they're all buying that. Doesn't say why he can't apologize to the people he accused of being liars, but all that is being just forgotten. Take a listen.
Welcome. So we were just in the middle of a call, which is why I have my headphones on. And it stopped abruptly because I didn't realize with this pod being, when you schedule a call, you have to ahead of time put in how long, you're going to be on this call for. So I put in 120 minutes and it cut us off, which I felt really terrible about. So I jumped on here and I said, let's do it because Denise is awesome. She's like, just live stream. I'm like, all right, I'm here. So hi, everybody. Hi, Sherry. I see. Yes, for everybody that wasn't in the call, welcome. And for everybody that was, welcome back. We were just in the middle of a discussion about, what happened, of course, on the night, 34 Fairview Road, January 29th, 2022. Some of you may have heard about it. Maybe not. So we were just.
What happened? I'll tell you what happened. I can shed some light on this mystery right now. Karen Read and John O'Keefe, as John O'Keefe said, their relationship had run its course. He was trying to get rid of her. Karen Read wouldn't leave the home. That is according to Kaylee, the niece's testimony. They went out before a storm. They went out for drinks. And of course, John O'Keefe had to wait for Karen Read to arrive because she said she had a plumber over that she was waiting for to fix her, Richie, the plumber, to fix her hot water issue. Apparently, Richie did a good job, but he, according to Karen Read, always put the toilet seats on crooked. And John O'Keefe was ticked off about that. They met for drinks. She had 11 drinks, at least, that we know of. In that last hour before leaving, one every almost 10 minutes or 9 minutes, something like that. Yeah, she's drunk. She hit him. She left him to die. Yeah, and they drove on over to have a little get together with friends from the bar. And John O'Keefe was carrying Karen Read's drink, got out of the car. I think he was like, "Are you coming with me or not?" And she put her foot 75% on the gas pedal, going 24 miles an hour, up to speeds of 24 miles an hour in reverse, and clipped him and left him to die in a blizzard, and then went to his house, not her house, snuck into his house, and started thinking up ways to cover up her crime. Never called 911 in all of it. Never called anyone for help, only called for help for herself. So, I mean, I would love a free Karen reader to explain to me why she had to call Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts, why they were necessary, why she couldn't just call 911 or go to the scene alone. And I'll tell you why she didn't go to the scene alone, because she goes to the scene alone. What happened last night? There's her cracked taillight all over the scene. There's no time. There's never been any evidence that any of it was planted, and there's no time. It was literally impossible for anyone to plant that evidence. Timeline does not add up. And then there's the microscopic pieces of Karen Reed's taillight in John O'Keefe's shirt. I mean, little bit of a problem for Karen Reed. That's what happened. But she can just keep grifting off of this forever.
Started throwing out theories about it. Earlier in our conversation, we had spoken a lot about.
And these theories can go on forever. I mean, 20, 30 years later, they can go on. And like I say, it's really like the carrot just dangling in front of the donkey for these people. And if I had a dime for every comment that was like, you're going to be really sorry when this, that, and the other case that I'm talking about, when they're proved innocent and the real killer gets revealed, you're going to be really sorry. If I had a dime for every comment I've gotten like that over the years, I would be so rich. So you do not get rich following innocence, talking about innocence fraud. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. It's not a moneymaker. But, I mean, someone's got to talk about it. It is just such an avalanche in our society. I mean, we're like so inundated with this media.
About the kind of drama that's going around in the Free Karen Reed movement right now, and decided that we were going to try to move away from that. I think the consensus discussion on that was that, yeah, I mean, it's bad for justice for John O'Keefe. And for most of us, right, what do we want? We want justice for John.
No, they want conspiracy theories. They want tell me stories, anyone but Karen Reed. That's what they want. This is the most revolting, stomach-churning part, is that the groupies of the killer of John O'Keefe will use the victim's name and the idea of justice for him to absolve the person that all the evidence points against. They already got her off with their innocence fraud campaign. What more do they want? They want guys, they really want to solve it. Any minute the feds are coming. It's going to be revealed. It's like Clue almost. It was this person and the blah, blah, blah with the this. And they love, a lot of these people hate the police, so they love stories of a complete police conspiracy. But please, no one's interested. If it involves putting Karen Reed away, making Karen Reed accountable in any way, none of them are interested in justice for John O'Keefe. It's revolting, stomach turning.
And, you know, it seems like there's a lot of personal shots going back and forth right now. And I'm sure we're not even anywhere near the end of this thing. It seems like it's kind of getting bigger, and it might get even more intense before it subsides. It's funny. It's like in the air, right? It just, you kind of can feel the intensity ratcheting up. So it just feels like it's in the air, and yeah, so hopefully we can bring the temperature down a little bit, and start to move away from this. Yeah, because it's just not good. It's not good for any of us. And look, I get it. You know.
Right. So let's look over the bad behavior of others. Let's scapegoat. And this is like not uncommon. on both sides. Like when bad behavior is pointed out, go after the person, the person who's calling it out. Don't go after the person doing the bad behavior. This is like just a common thing in life, and it has been on both sides of this case. But the Free Karen readers are excellent at all coming together and overlooking any kind of bad behavior, because there's a lot of dark and disturbed personalities involved in this. This woman is a mental health professional. This is what she works in New York City. Like, I worry about getting sick and being at the hands of some of these dark and disturbed personalities who are nurses, doctors, mental health professionals. Right. It's like, I don't worry about getting sick as much as I worry about being in the hands of some of these people. They're disturbed.
I get it. Stuff happens. Our egos get wounded. I completely understand. And look, a lot of this predates me by a long time, right? Some of these folks, certainly Aidan and like Sean McDonough, these guys have been doing this together for a long time. And so, yeah, there's a history, right? There's history. So I think a lot of what this is all about is history. And, I get it. It's not easy. It's not easy taking the high road. It really isn't. But
it's definitely not about Aidan Kearney recording Karen Read without her knowledge. It's definitely not about that. If you asked anyone, what's this uproar about in Free Karen Read, most people say, oh, well, Aidan Kearney recorded Karen Read without her knowledge, and then he screamed and swore at all the people who said that he did it and to call them liars, and then recordings came out of it. That would be like, that's how I would describe the story. Not Samantha. Samantha would describe the story as that there was history. It's history between people, and there's got to be some kind of ulterior motive involved here. It's just history. It's not about what it's about. Just gaslight your audience. Point them over there. I mean, just how Karen Read did her defense.
But my point, and I think for fodder, it gives them something to hold on to and start to spew out there to try to spin the narrative. So that's my take on it. I hate to see it. It's not good. It's just not good. But, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm extraordinarily grateful to Aidan Kearney for everything. I mean, if it wasn't for his interest in this case and being the person that he is, where he is willing to do things I would never do. I would never do what Aidan Kearney has done. I would never, be calling up Jennifer McCabe on her personal cell phone and asking her, why did you kill John O'Keefe, right? I would never be taking hundreds of people on a...
I would never be breaking the law and harassing witnesses. That's a good thing, Samantha. Not a bad thing.
Rally to Michael Proctor's home. So I give this man tremendous credit. He's got balls of steel, and God bless him, because here's the thing. Here's the newsflash. Without him, I'm pretty sure Karen Read would be in prison. Michael Morrissey would be on his way to another term because it would go uncontested. There'd be nobody, he would be going up against nobody. Michael Proctor would still be a police officer. Brian Tully, Yuri Buchanan, all these people would still be working out of Michael Morrissey's office. So all I can say is thank God for Turtleboy. Otherwise, none of us would know any of this, and it would just keep going, right? And Sam, I see Sam saying yes. So I see Sam White saying loophole lawyer dude said he's sending evidence to the FBI. I have to tell you, a lot of people...
Is he really doing that? Or is he just telling his audience he's doing that? What has he done? He's got a killer off. He poisoned the jury pool, raised a whole lot of money, got Karen Reed a whole lot of assets that she wouldn't have had for someone who killed a cop and left him to die in one of the worst ways possible. Let's all celebrate that, shall we? Unreal. So she says, basically, let me go to the. I thought this was a more interesting part of this. So she just basically says, forgive and forget. I mean, that's basically, actually, let me come back to her. Hold on one second. I'm going to come back to her. I just know where I want to go here. Right around here. So coming back to this very soon. But I want to go to this is like the JFK guys. This was the essence of, it was clipped. I lost my mind listening to it. Aidan was on their show, and they were very hard on Aidan yesterday, but the day before yesterday. But last night, all is forgiven and forgotten. So take a listen here.
Right? Because you did ask him that. You did ask him, like, why the fuck do you care about something like this that doesn't involve you? Like, there's no criminal complaint filed here, right? There's no charges. Like, why is
I mean, and at the end of the day, too, TB, to be real talk, even if there can't be criminal charges because there's nothing they could prove on some real shit. Just like every day I go to Macy's in the morning and I put polos in the bag, they can't prove it, TB.
Well, and more.
This is like the essence of this whole thing. Listen, TB. Listen, TB. This is the whole thing. Listen, TB. TB. We got your back, TB. No problem, TB. All's forgiven and forgotten. Just like my shoplifting. He's always talking about his shoplifting at Macy's. Like it's adorable. Just like my stealing enterprises. Nobody can prove anything.
Importantly, Karen Reed's not going to fucking cooperate with the state police. I mean, what kind
not
of
cooperate with a koala bear either.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this, right, Cut?
Right? Because you did ask him that. You did ask him, like, why the fuck do you care about?
So that's that. They're sort of, we're gonna forgive and forget on that. Hold on 1 second. And then there's like one other clip I wanted to play for you from it. I just lost this one. So hold on.
It's all good. If you question anything, if you say anything about Karen Reed or Turtleboy, everybody goes crazy. It's obviously you can't say nothing about Turtleboy. You guys won. It's all good. I got nothing to say. It's all good. If you question anything, if you say anything about...
Right. They're done questioning. The JFK show is just big Karen Reed support center now. Like one of the ones that's still going. If you question anything, it's a cult. It's a cult. It is a cult. Hold on 1 second. Let me just pull this up in the way that I want. Should I take a break? I think I can find it in... It's right after here. Okay. Okay, here we go. So right after here, so they just start talking about the civil case coming up.
Oh, like, have you had opportunities to use some of these tools that your resolution definitely was, for Karen.
So someone says, Sheila P. says, it broke my heart seeing Karen being forced to listen to the plaintiff's attorney's argument. Karen shouldn't even have to listen to it, guys. Shouldn't have to even listen to the plaintiff's attorney's argument. Never mind that Kaylee has been now had all of her three parental figures. Her mother died of cancer, all before the age of 18. And that actually all before the age of 15? Her mother died of cancer, her father died of a heart attack, and John O'Keefe, her fun uncle, murdered in the worst, terrible way. But Karen, who's being accused of this, shouldn't even have to listen to it. This is some wild thinking going on over here.
This idea of like being, having to stay in a prolonged hypervigilant state, just like constantly waiting for the shoe to drop. When I did hear that call, we were just on a separate call, an audio call, and we were listening to the audio that Sean McDonough dropped. And what I thought of listening to Karen get really upset was exactly that, imagine that, you've got this big, you've got this case, you've got these charges. Someone is trying to put you in prison for the rest of your life, right? And you
right on no evidence, right? This is the way they think. No evidence. It just takes them like 6 weeks to produce all that no evidence. I think even longer, right? Wasn't it like 8 weeks, 9 weeks? We had like of the whole trial, like 7 or 8 weeks of the prosecution's, just the prosecution's case. First time round, it had a lot more evidence in it than the second case.
know that all these cops are out to get
a lot more testimony. All these cops are out to get you. For what reason? They want to get the adjunct finance professor? For what? No one had ever heard of Karen Reed until she killed John O'Keefe. No one's out to get her.
They're just digging around, waiting for some reason to pick you up and put you in jail.
Right. This is like a common talking point of the innocence fraud. Bob Ruff, who does the aptly named Truth and Justice podcast, says, well, you might never be convicted of a crime. That doesn't mean you won't be accused of it. Like any minute, and anyone's looking to just accuse you of a crime, any second, you're going to. I will tell you that real, not innocent fraudsters, real wrongful convictions are very rare. They're not happening left and right, hundreds of thousands of them every year. It's not happening. Not like this movement would like you to think it is.
Again, cannot be a comfortable way to live. I mean, it just really can't. And you're absolutely right. Listening to the O'Keefe family lawyer, yeah, I would say break my heart.
It broke their heart for Karen. Their hearts were broken for Karen. Not Kaylee, not the O'Keefe family, Karen. Because there only can be one victim in these stories. And the victim here is Karen, and John O'Keefe is totally forgotten, as much as they like to throw his name around and hide behind it. What they're about is Karen Reed getting away with it all the way.
Art is the nicest way that you could put it, because it was like re-devastating, right? It's like, oh my God, are we doing this again? I felt trauma, just right? Like listening to this attorney stand up and start to talk about you know, John's niece and how she's traumatized. And all I could think back was, I mean, do you have any idea the kind of frantic state that Karen Reed was in to even put Kaylee?
Why did she have to put Kaylee in that position? Why couldn't she just call 911, Samantha? Why couldn't she get help for anyone but herself? Actually get help for John O'Keefe. She never did. She never called. She went and she called. She rounded up. First she wanted the Cameranos. Michael wasn't around. Catherine was at work. And then she got a hold of Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe, and they were her marks. She needed someone to be there to mix it all up, to act frantic, to act upset. I don't think they still realize to this day. They're going to be 10 years down the road before they realize what Karen Reed did to them, how she fooled them. Karen Reed knew where she led them. Then she led them right to where she knew where John O'Keefe was. It wasn't like she needed help finding him. She never looked for him. When do you ever lose something and you never look for it? She rounded them up. She took them. She was like, oh, we have to pretend to go to the house and look for him? All right. How long does this take? Strangely, Karen Reed didn't take off her shoes because she knew that rule didn't apply anymore in John O'Keefe's house. She knew he wasn't going to be back to be angry about her walking around his house with her shoes on. Then she took them to his body to discover. Because if she just showed up there alone, it's just Karen Reed. No one else to blame. But with Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts, this crew is still pointing the fingers at them, and Callan Albert and Brian Albert, anyone but Karen Reed. That's the story. Anyone but Karen Reed. It was an act. Karen Reed has only been worried about herself. She's been cool as a cucumber, the happiest defendant. You think she has trauma? She's shown no signs of trauma. She's laughed through the autopsy pictures. You know, there's such a history of mental health professionals giving just 5-star reviews to psychopaths and killers. Does anyone remember Jeffrey McDonald? His psychiatrist was like, this is a normally well-adjusted man who just not capable of this. But all the evidence goes towards him. And he's still convicted for killing his pregnant wife, Colette, and his 2 daughters, Kimberly and Kristen. So, I mean, I just thought this was amazing. Amazing that she wants to talk about Karen Reed's
in that
trauma.
position, right? I mean, as a mental health professional, we could start with the alcohol. We could start with the mental health profile. I mean, Karen Reed was out of her mind that night. And then she starts to get into a fight or flight. So she was already 53.
Fight or flight? She led them right to where she knew he was. Then jumped on his body, straddled him, lifted up her shirt and his shirt, and started rubbing herself on him to warm him up. She had no fear. I mean, everyone there seemed to understand that he was deceased. But Karen Reed had no fear of his deceased body. She just jumped right on it. She's a psychopath. It's so obvious. I mean, is this not the more obvious things? And Gigi says no amount of evidence will convince these 3 Karen Readers. No, there's still people, although, who think that anything that's bad for Karen Reed is CGI. So when the film of Karen Reed and Alan Jackson canoodling came out. That was AI, CGI. Although Alan Jackson would have been the first person to sue over something like that. That is a career-damaging video if someone put that together and released it as real. He never denied it. And now these audio tapes of Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney yelling at each other are now AI. Even though Aidan Kearney doesn't say that, Karen Reed hasn't used one of her mouthpieces to say that. That would be the first thing he would be saying, screaming about. Instead, he's saying he doesn't want to talk about it because it's a crime. And it's, I don't know. So I'm not going to go on forever, but this is where free Karen Reed is at with this nonsense. They've got a new innocence fraudster. You know, when I was more young and naive, I'd say, why would these experts put their name behind the killer? There's a lot of dark and disturbed experts or people who just don't care, who will grift off anything. It's tough to take. Yeah, it is tough to take. All right, that is what I have for today. Does anyone have anything else to say? Before I go. This will go on. Is it the calm before the storm? I think it's going to be years before we get a verdict on the civil trial. So this will continue going on, and Karen Reed will continue to profit with her blood money. That's my predictions. All right, guys. Please support the channel. Links are always in the description. You can buy me a coffee, Venmo, Patreon. All really great ways to support the channel. Links in the description. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everybody.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, carry, gin, gin. Like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Hit. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown.